Good afternoon, and welcome to Riverside County Probation Department Chief Probation Officer swearing-in ceremony. I'm Natalie Rivera, Chief Deputy Probation Officer, and I'm honored to welcome all of you here today as we celebrate our new Chief, Christopher H. Wright. Before we begin our ceremony, will you please stand and join us in honoring our flag with the Pledge of Allegiance?
Put your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the dignitaries and guests present. From our probation department, fellow executive team members, department managers, and our former Chief Probation Officer, Ron Miller, as well as former Chief Mark Hake. It's great to have you with us. I welcome members of our County Executive Office, including CEO Jeff Van Wagenen, COO Juan Perez, Assistant CEO Michelle Paradise, and Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer Barry Knight. We are honored to have presiding judge from Riverside Superior Courts, the Honorable Judith C. Clark, as well as the Honorable Judge Lorraine. We are also pleased to have Board of Supervisors of Riverside County, Chuck Washington, Karen Spiegel, and Jeff Green on behalf of Kevin Jeffries. Further, we welcome our Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention Commission Chair, Chris Callipy, and Commission members. And welcome for the Riverside Sheriff's Association, President Bill Young and Executive Director Dave Brown. We are always grateful to have the support of department leaders, including those here from our County Council, Child Support Services, DPSS, Fire, Purchasing and Fleet, Transportation, and the Sheriff's Department. Now, on a day like today, I think we can all agree this celebration would not be the same without the following guests here to help us honor Christopher H. Wright. That includes his amazing parents, Steve and Bernice Wright, his supportive siblings, Joyce, Stephen, Jim, and Anthony, and longtime friends, Veda, James, and Madeline, and many more that surprised Chief Wright. Thank you all for being here today. And most importantly, we welcome Chief Wright's children, Christian, CJ, Cody, and Sinai. Now, to begin our ceremony, I'd like to welcome our guest speaker, Chief Operating Officer for the County of Riverside, Juan C. Perez. Please give him a warm welcome.
Thank you, Natalie. Good afternoon, everybody. I want to first begin by thanking Chris for the opportunity to speak on his behalf, on the county's behalf today. I'm very honored by this, Chris. It's 32 years of public service for me. It's my first time speaking at a swearing-in ceremony for a Chief Probation Officer, and probably my last, too. And I can't think of a better Chief Probation Officer to be part of to celebrate than Chris Wright. So just want to thank you. This is something I will always remember, just like you will always remember this day moving forward. I've known Chris for about 3 years or so. I've known him longer than that, actually, prior to my work in the executive office, but I've gotten a chance to really get to know him in the last 3 years or so. And just a great man, a great leader. We're so proud of him today, and so proud to be standing here today to celebrate this moment with him. Today is really a day of celebration, and I really want to stress that point. First of all, we celebrate Chris. We celebrate the person that he is, the leader that he is. I've written a few comments that I've heard from folks about Chris, and I think all of you that know Chris these will resonate with you. Chris, he cares. He is compassionate. He thinks about his fellow man. He thinks about how we can improve our system. He thinks about how we can improve the lives of those that we touch here in the County of Riverside. Chris has been really on an incredible journey throughout his career, and I'm sure he'll be sharing a little bit more about that journey. I wanted to highlight a few points that really stood out for me in looking at his beautiful program. Chris began his career with the Riverside County Probation Department January 3rd, 1996, as a part-time group counselor. Think about that. I have a feeling that the next recruitment for a part-time group counselor position in the probation department is going to have your picture on it, as it should, Chris, because it's really an inspiration about how you can begin really anywhere in our careers and stand before us at the pinnacle of the career in the probation department. So that is something to really be proud of. Chris stands, and since 1996, he's certainly worked in probably pretty much every position, for the most part, in our probation department, so he has intimate knowledge of those. He's lived it, so that allows him to know it and to be able to connect with our team in a truly special way. Chris stands here today as our 12th Chief of Probation. That is an amazing accomplishment. I know we recognize a couple of our former chiefs. Thank you again for being here today. He is the first African-American chief to be appointed in this position in our county. Again, that is an incredible honor and recognition. And Chris is someone who has really worked throughout all of his career to serve. He is a servant leader, a public servant, to serve all of those who have crossed his path. So it's appropriate that we begin today by celebrating Chris and the individual that he is. It's also a day of celebration for our probation department. Can I ask the folks sitting in the audience who are part of our probation department team to stand up just real quick, please? Let's give them a hand. Thank you. Our probation department is 800 strong, and Chris will tell you that he is hiring. So that number is going to keep going up, right, Chris? They are dedicated to work in a collaborative manner with law enforcement, with public and private social services agencies, mental health partners, schools, other county departments, really a whole lot of individuals and organizations that cross their path in what they do to provide services to our community. So today is a celebration of all of you in our probation department, and I really want to say thank you to all of you for what you do each day to keep our community safe and for the active work that you all do to help change lives for the better. That does not go unnoticed or unappreciated. I know, and you know, more importantly, that in Chris you have a leader that believes in you. That in Chris you have a leader who has your best interest at heart. That he cares about you and the importance of the work that you all do. So I congratulate all of you for the work that you do every day. I looked at a little bit, some of the real values that I think speak to the work that the probation department does, and they all resonated with me. Ethical behavior, integrity, honesty, accountability, commitment, compassion, creativity, excellence, dedication, and respect. Probation Department constantly strives to uphold the public trust and to provide the best quality service to our constituents. So that is a tremendous responsibility, and you do it also very well. Today is also a day to celebrate our county. Riverside County continues to come into our own, if you will. We are the fourth largest county by size and population in the state of California. I think we're still about 10th largest, maybe 11th in the nation. But one of the really interesting things about Riverside County is that we're not done growing yet. If you look at the last census period, we saw fully 1 in 10 of every new resident to the state of California came here to Riverside County. So as we've seen other counties lose population, we are growing. And someday, in whether that's a decade or so, we'll be passing up Orange County as the third largest county. Probably a decade, maybe two after that, we'll be passing up San Diego, and we'll be standing right beside Los Angeles County. And why is that? Well, that's because people are voting with their feet, so to speak, and they're choosing to come here to Riverside County for the quality of life that we provide. So it's a day of celebration for our county because I know that our probation department definitely sits at the crossroads at a very important juncture in our criminal justice system that helps enhance and maintain the quality of life that makes Riverside County special. I want to talk just very briefly about the selection process. It is a doozy, I will tell you, having been through several decades of hiring process in public service. Nobody does it like probation for a lot of different reasons, including state law. I was honored to serve on an interview panel with Judge Clark, Judge Peterson, Supervisor Washington, thank you Supervisor, Supervisor Perez, Marita Ford and I. And we went through a very exhaustive process of looking at a lot of good candidates and a number of good candidates. And the panel makes a recommendation, but that is just really, in some ways, the start of the process, because then it goes as the nomination is submitted to the Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention Commission, the old JJDPC that rolls off the tongue. And I want to thank the members of our commission that are here today, and thank them very much for their support of Chris and for submitting his nomination to Judge Clark for appointment. And then finally, it came before our entire Board of Supervisors for ratification of the appointment. Again, thanking Supervisor Washington and Supervisor Spiegel that are here today. Unanimous support of Chris and just excitement in the air at the board meeting. So I want to just talk about how Chris stood out, because Chris really did. He stood out during the selection process. He stood out and stands out for his vision. He stands out for his commitment to strengthening partnerships, because we all know in this work that we do, it is all about partnerships. Success comes with bringing us all together to tackle the different and the difficult challenges that we face. He stood out for his strategic plan, an impressive effort and work done by the probation department to look to set the future as probation and the county is going to continue to grow. He stood out and stands out for his experience, for his qualifications, for his expertise. He knows probation like few if any others. And for me, and I know for others on the panel, he stands out and he stood out for his heart, for his passion. Chris just kind of hums with this positive energy. I'm not even sure how to describe it, but if you've been together with Chris, every interaction I leave with him, I just leave with this sense of excitement, positive energy, optimism that leaves me better for the engagement. And that always has meant a lot to me, and I look forward to many more of those engagements, Chris. So today I will leave you with that thought of congratulations. Congratulations to Chris. Congratulations to the dedicated men and women of our probation department. I'm going to paraphrase my channel Frank Sinatra and say that for our probation department and for Chris, the best is yet to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Perez. Before we get to the oath, I would like to share some history of Chief Wright and a little bit about his journey getting here, and then some remarks on behalf of his executive team, as well as my personal knowledge of the chief. Chief Wright earned a Bachelor of Arts degree from the University of Arizona with a double major in communication and sociology. He also played football for the Arizona Wildcats. Prior to entering the probation department, Chief worked as a counselor at the Tucson Urban League and as the program director for Helicon Youth Center, both residential treatment centers for youth. Chief Wright began his career with the Riverside County Probation Department in 1996 as a part-time group counselor. He gained experience and moved up the ranks as a deputy probation officer, a supervisor, assistant director, division director, and various assignments throughout the department. In 2019, he was promoted to Chief Deputy Probation Officer and then Assistant Chief in 2021. On May 2nd, 2023, the Board of Supervisors unanimously appointed Chris to become the 12th Chief Probation Officer of Riverside County Probation Department, and as mentioned, he proudly became the first African-American chief to be appointed in Riverside County. Chief Wright's leadership was instrumental in the development and design of our current L&M Krogan Youth Treatment and Education Center, from a military-based program to the campus model that is used today. Over the years, he's been involved in numerous projects, including the redevelopment of our Armed Academy and the ongoing development of our secured track program, Pathways to Success. More recently, Chief Wright initiated the department's first 5-year strategic plan to be completed and presented in June of 2023. While Chief, he will keep busy by serving as chairman of the Riverside County Community Corrections Partnership Executive Committee, chairman of the Juvenile Justice Coordinating Council, a member of the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee, Chief Probation Officers of California, Association of Riverside County Chief of Police and Sheriff, and Riverside County Law Enforcement Administrators Association, just to name a few. Above all, Chief Wright's greatest accomplishment is being a devoted father to his wonderful children. As a member of the department's executive team, I know I can speak for all of us when I say how grateful we have been for Chief's leadership over the years, for the current support and guidance he provides to us daily, and for the future commitment and compassion he will undoubtedly have for all of our staff and to all of those that we serve. Recently, I read a new definition of inclusive leadership from the Harvard Business School, which states, "Leadership is about making other people better as a result of our presence in a way that lasts into our absence." That definition truly defines Christopher H. Wright. If you know him, he will never leave a room without making an impact on someone, if not everyone. Personally, I've had the privilege to work closely with Chris for the past 7 years, and I have more respect and gratitude for him than anyone I've worked with. As a new manager many years ago, I never had to look for guidance or support because Chris had his way by sharing experiences and stories to teach me. I often waited for the clear direction from him, just to later realize by sharing his comments or experiences of what worked for him or failed, that was his way of empowering me. And as I progressed, he was always by my side. And now as a chief deputy, that still remains. As a friend, I can't be prouder of his accomplishments and grateful he represents our RCP family. I'm truly honored to serve our new chief, Christopher H. Wright. Please give Chris a hand as we welcome him to the podium. To administer the oath of office, we are honored to have Judge Judith C. Clark, who began her term as the presiding judge of the Riverside Superior Court in January of this year. Judge Clark was appointed to the bench in 2005 by Governor Schwarzenegger. Over her judicial career, she has handled criminal trials, family law, and served as the presiding judge of the juvenile courts, handling dependency and delinquency matters. Prior to her appointment, Judge Clark served as a deputy district attorney for the Riverside County District Attorney's Office for 15 years. She spent most of her career as a child abuse and sexual assault prosecutor and finished her career as supervisor of the Training and Writs and Appeal Division. Judge Clark earned her Juris Doctorate from the University of San Diego School of Law. She holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Criminal Justice with a minor in Addictions. With that said, please welcome the Honorable Judith C. Clark to administer the oath of office.
So you can face the camera. All right. And you ready to go? Don't want to change your mind.
No.
Okay. We'll do it in short sentences. All right. Raise your right hand for me, please. If you please repeat after me. I, Christopher H. Wright,
I, Christopher H. Wright,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the state of California, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservations or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter. Congratulations. You gotta sign. It's not official till you sign in ink. That's it.
That's my name.
You're on the hook now.
Okay, let me get two things. Oh, my goodness. Oh, welcome. And no matter what anybody tells you, there is no preparation for a day like today. None at all, whatsoever. And I know my family is looking at me right now saying, who the heck is Christopher H. Wright? Because truly, I never went by that. There was a few names I went by that I won't even speak about right now, so I'm just going to move on from that. But first and foremost, I would like to thank the Honorable Presiding Judge Judith C. Clark for presiding over these ceremonies today. I am honored and humbled to have you here today, Judge Clark, and I'm looking forward to working with you to service the great citizens of Riverside County. Thank you, Your Honor, and I promise to be prepared. I promise to be ready for the long days, and I also promise to bring 110% effort to my job each and every day. I would like to thank Chief Operating Officer Juan Perez for the kind words and support throughout this process. Thank you, Juan, and your advice has always been solid and right on time. I would also like to thank the entire executive office, including Jeff Van Wagenen, my boss and assistant CEO, Michelle Paradise, Rebecca Cortez, our principal analyst, and of course, Andy B. I would also like to thank the entire Board of Supervisors office. Supervisor Spiegel, thank you for being here. Supervisor Jeffries, Supervisor Gutierrez, and especially Supervisor Perez and Supervisor Washington, who participated in my interview for this job. Just a little quick story about Supervisor Washington. During my interview, I was not feeling well, my first interview. And for some reason, he caught eye contact with me. And it kind of reminded me of my dad looking at me, you know, it was just like a father that looked at you. And he looked at me and he had one thing to say. And he just, in a silent way, just said, "Do you want some water?" Well, thank you, Supervisor Washington. I did need that water. Trust me, I needed it. I needed it that day and on. Also, I'd like to thank the Honorable Judge Mark Peterson for his support as the presiding juvenile judge and being a part of the process also. I know we have a lot of work to do, and we're going to get going. And thank you also, all the judges that are here today, and thank you all. Oh my goodness, I'm getting nervous again. All right. There's so many names I'd like to mention, so forgive me if I miss anyone. I'd like to thank the J-Day DPC led by Christopher Calapi and his entire committee for standing by me. The leaders of RSA, Bill Young and Dave Brown, thank you for your support. Thanks RSA for all the barbecues, and I know we're going to do some great things together. All the county department heads and departments, the sheriffs, the DPSS, the district attorney's office, public defenders, RUHS, public health and and behavioral health, RCOE, child support service, county council, fire department, purchasing and transportation, county communication, and all of our local police officers and representatives, and also our community-based organizations that are here in attendance today or watching online. Please forgive me if I forgot anyone, but you all know that I appreciate everyone here in attendance, and thank you all for the support. From our probation family, I see we have two former chiefs here today. Chief number 10, Mark Haight, who had a tremendous impact on my career and was the first person who challenged me to be better, get better, and shoot for the stars. Although I've had many mentors in my career, your guidance and advice, Mark, helped me lead the way to here today, and I am forever grateful. To Chief number 11, Ron Miller, Thanks, Juan, for believing in me when at times I didn't believe in myself. You pushed me out of the nest and told me to fly when I did not know I could. Your mentorship and guidance cannot be measured, and I really truly feel, without you, this day would not be possible. Thank you both. To my current executive team, wow, what a great group of leaders. Each in so many ways are different, but each of you are smart, dedicated, and I speak for all of you in saying, I know you love the Riverside County Probation Department. Shirley, who is absolutely one of the smartest people I have ever met. She is all about the numbers and the facts. You are truly the heart and brains of our operations, and I appreciate what you bring to our team. Thank you, Shirley. To Terry, who's not here today, but who I describe as our warrior. Terry fights for what she believes in. She fights for the needs of the staff and our department, and trust and believe she fights me if she thinks we need to go in a different direction. I often said every member of our team is an A student. However, Terry is always looking to get that A+, and that is truly appreciated by all of us. To Elisa, she is our motivational speaker and our champion for all causes probation. Your enthusiasm for all things probation and institution is infectious. You bring a joy to everyday life and our team and our department that cannot be measured. You are invaluable, and you represent our department with flags flown high wherever you go. Thank you, Elisa. To Joe, you are the rock and the backbone. You steady the ship when all of us get these crazy ideas in our head, and often you bring us back to reality. Your sound advice serves our team and the department in ways that often go unseen. Unsung at times, but your value to the executive team is noticed and appreciated, and we cannot do it without you. And thanks, Joe. To Natalie, first of all, thank you for hosting the ceremony here today. And as always, you're doing a great job, and I appreciate you more than you know. For me, you have always been the advisor. Often you have talked me off the ledge, and what has been most unique about your advice to me and to the executive team is that always you replace the crazy ideas that we've started the conversation with a suggestion. There's not a day that goes by that we don't communicate. And although I know I take away time from your family, David and Kayla, with those long strategy sessions, just know, Natalie, that clearly I value your advice, your opinion, and your friendship. Thank you. Thank you all, and thank you more than I can know, more than you can imagine. To the executive secretaries, Cindy, my other boss and confidant, I could not do this job without you. You are pushy at the right time, and I hope you know how much I appreciate you. Everybody knows about that. Cindy can be pushy, but I need you. Where you at? Where you at, Cindy? All right, all right. Whenever I get in trouble, I just look at Cindy and she straightens me out. Yeah. To Brian and Letty, you have always been the right hand in the past, and you both are a great part of our team. You make things easier for all of us, and thank you. To all the Riverside County personnel from the probation department here in attendance today, I'm going to ask you to do it again. Please stand up. Please stand up. I thank you all, and I'm honored to lead such a wonderful group of people. Thank you, and I love you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Again, there are so many people that I can't name them all, but clearly some of you were a great part of my life and my career. Just to name a few, I'm going to do some name calling here. The RJH crew, Cease Deutsch, Dave Smith, Art Blanco, Latan Mitchell, Ruben Alfaro, and Jimmy, I'm going to name you later, but I'll throw you in on that crew too. The IJH crew, Rigo Ramirez, Edward Ariano, Rick Quinata, Victor Regalado, Monica Orantes. The Southwest crew, Daniel Castaneda, Rebecca Cloyd, Jason Bailey, and Tom Gardner, who I was hoping to be here today, but I don't think Tom made it, but had a big influence on my career and my life. The Twin Pines Van Horn crew, Virgil Ivory, Tommy White, Walt Wagner. The Field Probation crew, Mike Belknaps, Beth Stevens, Rudy Lovato, Shannon Crosby, Pari Jaime, and Nina Higgins. I could go on all night, but you all have been a special part of my life and my career, from co-workers to friends, and I thank you all for being a part of my life. Thank you all to all the staff. Lastly, I want to thank my family and friends here in attendance. To my parents, I pray today that I make you proud. You're simply the greatest parents anyone could ever have. I know I'm biased, but all your second son ever wanted to do was to make you proud. I could live 10 lifetimes and not be able to pay you back. I know, Mom. You will take cash on delivery. Ma, I thank you for holding up the family and always providing love and strength to all of us. Pops, thank you for loving us all, and especially my mom, for 58 years of marriage. You are my hero, Pops, and the man I continue to strive to be. I love you both. I love you both. To my brothers and sisters, Jim, Steve, Joyce, and Anthony, we fought, we argued, we played, but we always stuck together. Jim, you brought me sports and competition. Joyce, you showed me unconditional love when I was a little bad brother I know you didn't like. Steve, you taught me to expand my mind through reading and understanding. And Anthony, you were the best younger brother and friend in the world, and I thank you. I love you all each individually, and you know what you mean to me. To my brother from another mother, Veda Boykins, who's been my best friend since the first grade. Whenever I was in doubt about any promotion, Veda would always tell me you'd be the chief one day. Never any doubt in his mind. I hope I made your mom proud of me today, Veda. She watches us down from heaven. Love you, brother. To my friend and fraternity brother, James, and his lovely wife, Madeline DeBoe. You're more than family, and I love you and appreciate you more and more as the years go by, and I'm so glad your family has become my family. And off script, my friend Melvin Smith and his wife Sherelle showed up here today. Kind of knocked me off my feet. Been one of my greatest friends throughout my life. I love you, Melvin, love you, Sherelle, and so glad you guys were able to make it here today. To my kids, Christian, who's in Duke Law School, Cody, who is a UNLV graduate with a master's at San Francisco State, and CJ, who has a Bachelor of Arts from Cal State San Bernardino in Theater Arts, and my youngest, Sinai, who just graduated from middle school. I'm so proud to be your father. Every day I brag on you. And I know I truly would not be here without you in my life. Of all my accomplishments, you are my greatest award. Sinai, who is here today, always says, Daddy, admit it, you know I'm your favorite. Well, Sinai, you get to hear the whole truth today about that question. Christian, my firstborn, and seeing her come into this earth is one of the happiest moments of my life. Cody, who's my stepson, who immediately allowed me to remove the word step from our relationship. I know I could never replace your deceased father, but I'm glad to call you my son. CJ, my inspiration. No matter what the barriers were for you, my son, you never made any excuses. You inspire me every day, and I love you more than you know. Lastly, to Sinai. Yes, you remind me more of myself than anyone. When I look in the mirror, I often see your reflection. You came along when Daddy absolutely needed some sunshine in his life. Yes, Sinai, you simply brought the joy and happiness back into my life. I love you all, and I also hope I made you proud today as your dad. Finally, to the great staff working here at the Riverside County Probation Department, it is truly an honor to serve as the 12th Chief Probation Officer for the Riverside County Probation Department. To the managers, staff, support staff, and all levels of the department, your hard work and dedication is greatly appreciated. As you can see through the program you received here today, honors all the past chiefs of this great department, and I am so proud to have joined another fraternity. As the first African American to join this fraternity in 118 years of existence, I am humbled to be chosen to serve. During this past month, I often asked God why He chose me to get here first. Although I recognize the significance of my appointment to youth of color who look like me, in the end, I know I represent more than my skin color, but I represent the great citizens here in Riverside County. This appointment means the world to me, and I will never take it for granted and forsake my duties as chief. That being said, I truly believe the greatness of Riverside, the Riverside County Probation Department is ahead of us. The foundation has been laid by past chiefs, managers, and staff, and the time is now for us to put the finishing touches on the new vision. We have a new 5-year strategic plan, which I cannot wait to share with the entire department. We are now entering a very different landscape, and to compete with the changes in law enforcement across the state, we as a department must change with it. As an industry, probation is having to adjust and redefine our mission in order to remain in the important role we play in the justice system. New legislation like SB 823 has caused us to build the plane as we are flying it. We all know it's no longer acceptable for probation departments to say the community does not know what we do as an industry. It is time to increase our impact, increase our role in the community, and educate our courts and the community about our role as things develop and change. With that said, here is Christopher H. Wright, Chief 12, in a nutshell. I believe the glass is half full. I believe all things are possible. I believe in empowering staff. I believe in putting people in the position to win. I believe in hard work and getting up early and leaving work late if necessary. I believe in new technology, new ideas, and new equipment to make our lives easier. I also believe in early intervention and doing our best to keep people from entering the system from the start. I also believe in accountability. I believe in arming and task force operations where there is a need. I also believe in fairness and treating individuals of color, regardless of color, sex, race, or ethnicity, with the same decency and respect as you would one of your own children. To our staff, if I don't know you personally, I plan to get out and meet you. I believe in transparency and communication, and I am willing to share my time if you're willing to listen. I'm very competitive, and believe me, the ultimate goal is to be the best probation department that we can be. That speaks directly to our mission statement of serving the courts, changing life, and protecting lives, and protecting our communities. I will not ask you to do something that I have not already done or not willing to do in the future. Our time is now, RCP, and let's continue the great legacy of the great department and all the leaders before us by leading the way into the future. We have all the tools, and I promise to lead and provide the leadership needed to be the best. I truly love working for the Riverside County Probation Department. Lastly, I've had the pleasure in my life of being on great teams. My high school, the Carson Colts, and playing for one of the greatest football programs in the state. The University of Arizona teams at one of the winningest times in their history. And I know Jeff's like, that's Arizona. They didn't beat USC. And being a member of the greatest fraternity in the world, in my opinion, Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. And lastly, being appointed to the Chief of Probation of a small fraternity of 12 in one of the greatest departments and greatest counties in the state of California. I have worked for 5 chiefs before me: Chief Callahan, Chief Whittington, Chief Krogan, Chief Hake, and Chief Miller. And to all the chiefs of the past, thank you for opening up the doors and inviting me into this special group. As you've heard me talk about before, Jackie Robinson was once quoted as saying, that life is not important except in the impact it has on others. Please, God, let me continue to have an impact. God bless you all, and thank you for being a part of my swearing in, and thank you for being here, and you all have a safe trip home. Thank you. And although this is not on the program, I am a man of faith, so I'm going to have my best friend in life, Veda Boykins, come up here and lead us out in prayer.
Good afternoon. Truly honored to be part of this. And if my eyes look a little red, I wasn't crying. My allergies flared up a little bit. So, dear Father, we stand before you today humbly saying, thank you. Thank you for the gift of life, Lord. Because with the gift of life comes opportunity. And here today stands a man who only asks for an opportunity, not give me something. But Lord, let this send a message to many people out there who everyone has a plan and a purpose over your life. It may not be to become chief. You may never come in contact with Chris, but remove the narrative, the negativity that I'll never get there, this and that, this and this. You heard he's someone who started at the bottom part-time, simply trying to take care of his family. And that is David standing as chief. Lord, your word said, the first will become last, and the last will come first. And here today, we see that, and we're thankful for that. And we're thankful for those, Lord, who've been by his side. We ask you to pause for a second and thank you those who went before him, the men and women who sacrificed, who stayed on the job and did things they had to do for a day like today to become possible. We thank you for that. We thank you, Lord, for the team that's around him now, and with those who will continue to come. Undergird him, put a hedge of protection around him, Lord. Keep him humble, lift him up when he needs be. And we ask that you continue to cover those who are going forward. Special prayer for those families and friends out there who someone might be hurting just often need a kind word, a hello, a thank you. And continue to look over us, Lord. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Bring Natalie back to the podium.
That concludes our ceremony. Thank you, everyone, for being here in person, and thank you to those watching virtually.
Thank you. And truly last, thank you. Just thank you, and thank you all for being here.